Welcome to Housing Developments.
I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, man. How you doing?
It's good. It's good. It's good to see you. We're a little remote this week, again due to travel, but it's getting back in the saddle after the spring leadership meeting.
That's how tired you are. That you're you're switching out spring leadership at LegCon with the Builder Show. So sadly we're apart again, but everybody wants to know where were your latest travels. I mean, you just got back about what you said about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, back this afternoon. Was down visiting our members at the Charleston Home Builders Association. Adrian Kane, who runs that association, doing a great job rebuilding membership down there, and in a partnership with the Hilton Head HBA. Also, their EO has left, and so Adrian is managing both associations for the next year. To get them both going, but real optimism down there. I mean, South Carolina has a ton of growth. They've got a lot of industry coming in. Housing is obviously top of mind, and the Charleston HBA is launching a partnership with the College of Charleston in order to do some data research on housing in particular. And our economics team has been helping them get that up and running and offering advice down there. So anyway, we had about 300 people in the room last night. I was with our colleague, Danushka, down there. We had great turnout, but they're doing great things, and great group of members are a really popular hot spot for influx of people coming from the Northeast and the West.
Yeah, and then before that, talking about hotspots, you were in Texas, right?
Yeah, I was in Texas with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Committee of 100, something NAHB belongs to, and roundtable of CEOs. Just having a conversation about association management, the future under the next administration, whichever one it is. Threats across the globe that might provide shocks to the U.S. economy. Really a great content provided by the chamber. And really looking forward on the and how do we continue to defend business in America? I thought that was a great theme for it, for the conference, just about the free enterprise system in the U.S. and how do we embrace business as the pathway to wealth creation, but also economic prosperity. So a couple of good trips this week.
Very nice. Well, before you went out on your trips, we actually had several hundred of our members coming to Washington DC. So I know it's been a couple of weeks, but the vibe was so amazing, and I think we had such a great turnout and just a great meeting in general. I think we need to talk about it. So let's go with that. I mean, let's start with LegCon.
Yeah, and for our listeners who were at the legislative conference and the spring leadership meeting this year, thanks for being there. 1,000 people in town went up to Capitol Hill on Wednesday, June 12th, and had a great day. Met with their lawmakers, key staff, talked about the three big issues that we've been talking about really all spring, but the transformer shortage, the workforce shortage, and then of course the burdensome code regulations that are coming down from this administration and across the country. But a great day for everybody on Capitol Hill, as well as and then the leadership meetings following that. Just great participation. You said, Paul, a lot of energy. Just the networking that we do and the members are able to do, just high level stuff. And then of course doing the business of the association and moving policy resolutions and getting updates on the big issues facing the industry.
Yeah, we normally survey those who attend, and we just got some survey data back, and people loved the meeting, and they liked that tighter timeline, right? Yeah. And the hotel was cool. That was the first time that we were at that hotel. So just across the board, it seemed very, very successful. So congratulations. I mean, there's hundreds of people literally behind the scenes that make this happen. So a big congratulations to the staff there, because I think they hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, agreed. It was a great week, and so if you're thinking about coming next year, we're in the same hotel, just about the same time. But yeah, make your plans. Come to Washington D.C. next year, and if you weren't able to join us this year, or if you were, we're looking forward to even bigger crowd next year in 2025.
Were you surprised at how upbeat the members were? I mean, I was a little bit surprised because I didn't get a whole lot of negativity anywhere, wherever I
No,
look.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm amazed at the resiliency. Always have been with our members, of course, but with interest rates hovering at 5%. Sorry, hovering at 7%. I wish they were at 5%. Hovering at
Yeah,
7%. Look, the market is slow, but they're all busy. We've talked about it. We're the only game in town, so there is optimism. Everybody's busy, and I think there is optimism. Despite our HMI numbers showing that the builders are pessimistic by and large, but there is optimism that once we get these rates moving in the right direction, that's down, that
yeah,
things will start picking up, and now they're just getting ready, right? Making sure their local lawmakers are in a position to help build more housing over the next several years.
yeah. No, so I thought it was a great meeting,
Yeah.
and a great networking event. So yeah, but then you look at the optimism that we saw, and then all of a sudden we got hit, by not the greatest data sets in the world, right? I mean, like you imply, our own HMI dropped another 2 points, right?
Yeah.
So now we're firmly into kind of that negative territory. And then, new home sales plunged 11.3% last month. And that's a data set that's always kind of noisy,
Right.
anyway,
Right.
but still a little bit harder hit than I think a lot of people expected. Pending sales, we always talk about pending sales down to a record low, down 2.1%. It's the lowest on record. And then you talk about inventory. Inventory keeps, got popped up there, which you think would be good news, but it's kind of like a good news, bad news kind of thing, right? So, I mean, initially, what are your thoughts there? I mean, what do you see an opportunity there for housing to make a statement, or what are your views?
Well, I mean, I think again, we always knew the recovery was going to be bumpy, so we're really not surprised.
Yeah.
I think I think disappointed that builder sentiment has really sagged below 50. We had such a good run up in the earliest part of the spring and in the first part of the year. But we've erased all of those gains. We're back to where we were in December, so it's really frustrating. But it tracks, right? Builder sentiment, that forward looking indicator, is now, you can see now those government numbers following behind. Now I know why the members are pessimistic, right?
Right.
But I also think a lot of these data sets probably reacted to when interest rates were really hovering at 7% or just above 7%. And now we've seen rates, after the Fed came out, inflation generally flat. The Fed taking rate increases off the table, talking about probably one rate decrease at the end of this year, again in line with our economics department's forecast. That led the bond market to rally a little bit, and then we saw interest rates drop, and with about 6.8%, right, something like that. In the latter part of kind of the modeling. So it seems like, I'm optimistic next month things will tick up a little bit, but not surprised. As long as interest rates stay high, the market's going to stay constrained.
Yeah, I mean, the one good news that we did get, like you said, is that mortgage rates finally dropped below 7 consistently, down at that 6.86, I think, or somewhere around there. And like our members have been telling us, we saw it in the HMI, it's all about the interest rates, right? Moments interest rates hit that 7 plus, traffic went down. The consumers were like, okay, we're going to pause here. So yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of optimism that now that we're staying at that below 7, 6.8%, I think you'll get some. Not everybody will get off the fence, but I think you'll get enough to bring that to buoy up that positivity again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Positivity, that's the word. Yeah, I do. I think we again. I think what I'm most is when it was that the spring selling season really was robbed from us in the summer season. I think that's tough. And now the summer building season, especially in the northern parts of the country, that's, if it's slow, that's too bad, because that doesn't help our supply problem in the second half of this year and into next year. But again, I'm not surprised, but hopefully we are going to start seeing a sustained trend of rates really starting to drop into that mid-6 range, where we're hopeful we'll end up this year. And I think that starts to spur some movement in the in the market. Maybe, that high inventory number, like you said, kind of a strange reading, but I think generally we're still operating at a 4-month supply. Even though it's showing it's 9 months or something like that. Yeah, that's got to be an aberration.
And we do want to do a plug. Dr. Robert Dietz, asked that we plug. He actually did a very good analysis on this and did kind of a deep dive. That even like you said, Jim, we're at 9.3 reading, but when you combine both existing and new, you're still at that low 4.3, 4.4 month supply. That's, again, because we're the only game in town. So a 1 month reading is not something, to be fearful of, but we wanted to do the plug.
Remind our listeners where they can find that report.
On Rob's famous blog piece, and that's ionhousing.org. Actually has some really good stuff. We make fun of it because it's so wonky, but man, if you want to do some deep dives and you want to look at the numbers and see where the housing market is, that is a fabulous resource.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so we focused too much on the past. Let's look into the future. Unfortunately, when we're recording this, the debate has not happened yet.
Yeah.
But there is a buzz in terms of this is the one that everyone's going to look at and kind of get a reading as to what they'll see, both either good or bad.
Right.
Any predictions? How do you think the campaign's
Oh God, yeah. Boy, I don't know. I think it's I'm a race fan, as everybody knows. This one feels like you're tuning in just to see what the big one is, and who's gonna wreck if they both do. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see the debate moving much of the numbers post. Sure, someone will get a little bit of a bump, but it's got to be a couple points, depending on performance, I guess. I think so much of this campaign is already locked in. I really do. Yeah. In every campaign is trying to downplay, the expectations. If Biden shows up, it could fog a mirror. That's a win. People think he's prepared to fall on his face. I just don't see it happening. I think that the president's a gamer. We saw it at the State of the Union speech, and President Trump wants a drug test him in case he just suggested he might be on kind of drugs, whether legal or illegal. Kind of the silliness in the lead up to it is more entertaining. It may be a whole lot of nothing. I guess what I'm more interested in, Biden's going to know his facts. He's going to try to sell his record. That's what he should do. Trump is not doing traditional prep. He's out on the campaign trail. He's gonna do the stuff that Donald Trump does. So I'm more curious whether it gets nasty or whether it can kind of stay at that high level. Whether it's an exchange of ideas, I don't know. It matters as much as tone. And I remember when Biden as a candidate called then President Trump, I think he called a pal, or he used some kind of derogatory term in the debate and said, and then later apologized for it. But I think that's what bothers me about all this. It just seems like the general discourse has just gotten kind of nastier. And that's, and that is what it is. But I kind of miss the old fashioned, let's actually talk about issues debates rather than, clash of personalities and finger pointing and name calling. But we'll see. I'll tune in for the wreck.
Yeah, I think most people will tune in for that first 15, 20 minutes to see, what the vibe is. And then after that, they'll switch on to, whatever.
Yeah, it gets exhausting, right? I remember trying to think, I think I've been watching the Republican primary debates. Now, Trump wasn't on the stage, y'all know that, but I got exhausted after like 20 minutes. Like, I don't want to watch anymore. I didn't know what candidates stood for, whether they were trying to, out-zing the other one.
Right.
Maybe I'm too much of a policy wonk in my old age. That's really what it is. But anyway, so we will definitely talk about our next podcast because it will be, regardless, it will be fascinating.
Yeah. Now, hopefully the other thing that we'll talk about next week is the Supreme Court's kind of wrapping up its term. There's only a couple of the big ones. One of the big ones, that relates to housing is the Chevron case. So, when Tom Ward was here, and we'll have him back and kind of give us a post announcement analysis, but he was fairly confident that it was going to get overturned.
Yeah, I think based on the oral arguments and just the makeup of the court, this one, this court in my, really uneducated opinion, they're probably going to gravitate to the regulatory agencies need to follow the letter of the law, and if they go too far, the law is where they should stick in and not give them that deference to kind of come up with their own reading of the law. I mean, that is so helpful when it comes to the Clean Water Act, for instance. For us, we believe that the regulatory agencies in the 40 or 50 years since the Clean Water Act was enacted, that they've read way too much into the original law and over-regulated in this space. So, I think this stands to have a wide implication on a lot of things that we are working on. So, I'm really curious to look forward to have Tom come in and explain it to us.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we've discussed the past, we've discussed the future. So I think we can call it a program.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no, it's good. I'll be look forward to seeing everybody. So we put in a plug for the fall board meeting. We'll be at the fall spring leadership meeting. We'll be in San Antonio.
Yep.
The first week of October. So hopefully have our members there to visit with us in San Antonio and get the latest updates.
Absolutely. And a big shout out to our sponsor, LG Pro Builder.
Yeah, let's build the good life together. Thanks again for helping us do what we do here on housing developments.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'll see you on Monday.
I will see you on Monday. Yeah, till then, have a great weekend, and to our listeners, have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July as well. So, see you.
All right. This is Paul.
This is Jim. Bye.
Bye now.